I was hurt real bad. I got sick. I got malaria. I had an infected cut on my right side of my neck that I got when I got captured. And I was a hurting puppy. About the third day, I woke up with mosquito bites all over my body, every square inch. My eyes were swollen shut. And I got depressed. I really did. And darn near lost hope.
And my having ground, X-31, ready to check. 1, 2.
Welcome to the Naval Aviation Ready Room podcast, where the stories, leadership, and leading-edge technology of naval aviation come alive. Hosted by retired Navy Captain Ryan Keyes, this podcast takes you beyond mere museum artifacts as he delves into the personal stories, pivotal decisions, and state-of-the-art hardware that define the world's most prolific aviation force.
On August 6, 1972, Lieutenant and Junior Grade Mike Penn was 26 years old, flying combat missions over North Vietnam after dozens of sorties off the USS Midway. Moments after releasing ordnance, a surface-to-air missile struck his A-7 Corsair. He ejected into hostile territory, was captured, and spent the next months as a prisoner of war in Hanoi. In this episode, we'll explore what it means to lead when your cockpit becomes your battlefield and survival becomes your mission. Our guest is Mike Penn, call sign Pig. Naval aviator, former POW, and later a 30-year airline captain. Actually, I think it's 40-year airline captain. Almost close to that. Check airman and chief pilot with Southwest Airlines. From the skies over Vietnam to the flight decks of commercial aviation, his journey embodies resilience, integrity, and the quiet strength of leadership forged through adversity. Mike Penn, welcome to the Ready Room. It's an honor to have you aboard today.
Thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah. Just a quick background. I met Mike here back on September 18th, the night of September 18th, here, and you can hear the Blue Angels in the background. Yes, great sound of freedom. On September 18th, Thursday night, we were doing a ribbon cutting ceremony for the Return with Honor Vietnam POW exhibit here at the museum. And I got to meet you there. Mm-hmm. And this is the small world of naval aviation. So I'm talking to you and your wife, introduce one another, talk to one another, find out you're a Southwest pilot. And then I said, well, where are you based out of? It's like, I was based out of Houston. And I said, oh, no way, really? My academy roommate, Hal Snap, former P3 pilot, got out of the Navy, joined Southwest Airlines, and was based out of Houston forever. Well, it turns out you were the chief pilot in Houston, and you know Hal. Yeah. And so I took a picture of us and I sent it to Hal, and he was floored that we actually got to meet.
I bet he was.
Yeah, I know. It was great. It was so good. But they said the reason you were there though that night was for the Return with Honor exhibit. And then the next day we did the full-blown official commemoration opening ceremony for it here in the Blue Angel Atrium at the Naval Aviation Museum. And throughout my time in naval aviation when I was growing up, I read a lot about the POW experience. My father was a enlisted Marine rifleman in Vietnam, did his year over there, Purple Heart winner, and came back. But he really kind of ingrained in me, he came back as a proud Marine from Vietnam, right? When that kind of wasn't happening at the time. He was in there in 66, 67 timeframe. So a little different, as time went on. But to be able to, again, I read a lot about Jim Stockdale, a lot of the POWs that were there, and the opportunity to meet someone like yourself who has been through that. And like I said, we've had Charlie Plum on here as well, to meet all of you who were able to survive and to return with honor is such an honor for me. So I just can't tell you how thankful I am that you were willing to come on and talk to us and share your story.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Inside the Naval Aviation Ready Room podcast for naval aviators and their fans. So thank you very much just for coming.
It's
here.
a pleasure. You are. Glad to be here. Thanks.
And you came because we talked about this with Charlie. Is you come here every year to go to the Robert E. Mitchell Center for POW Studies to have essentially a medical exam kind of done. But when I interviewed Dr. Albano, also has been on the podcast, what's interesting is the level of resiliency that you all were able to achieve through your time there and what you went through. Can you kind of talk about that real quick on how it was that you were not only able to, I want to say thrive, you survived, but how were you able to do that for you, Mike Penn, personally?
For me, Mike Penn, I learned it real early, Ryan.
Okay.
I was hurt real bad. I got sick. I got malaria. I had an infected cut on my right side of my neck that I got when I got captured. And I was a hurting puppy. About the third day, I woke up with mosquito bites all over my body, every square inch. My eyes were swollen shut. And I got depressed. I really did. And darn near lost hope. And what I've learned is when you lose hope, it's pretty much it. And fortunately, I got moved out of one room into Heartbreak Hotel.
Okay.
Which is a superb model of it.
Yeah.
I could not believe how great they did a job on that thing. And once I got into Heartbreak, I was at the last room on the left. Right across from me was a Air Force captain, real skinny guy, Kevin Cheney. And he got really sick of watching me push food out the door and not eat it.
Wow.
So one day he said, after he figured out who I was, he said, "Hey, I'm sick. I'm starving over here, and I'm sick and tired of watching you push that food back. You better eat it. You're going to die, dude." And all of a sudden, just the way he said that, and then something my granddad said to me before I went to war, he said, "Never give up." And next thing I know, I said, "Okay, you have to make a decision for me, whether you want to live or die." Once that decision is made, that day I made the decision, I think I want to live. I'm not giving up. Once you make that decision, the conditions around you become acceptable and they become normal.
Okay.
For me. And as a result of that, one of our guys said it really, really bad. In that environment, you're not nearly as tough as you thought you were, but you're much more resilient than you ever thought you could be. And that comes from getting out of that, making that decision to live, accepting your conditions, making it normal, and going from there. And then once you get in a room with other guys, it feels like the war's over. And then that increases that acceptance rate and that resilience rate about 100-fold.
That's an interesting point you bring up. I hadn't really thought about that before. The difference between toughness and resiliency. And so I'm just trying to kind of think of it right now. Toughness to me means that you can go in to a cell and be tortured for hours on end, and maybe you can withstand it that day and you're tough that day, but can you do it multiple days and for a long time when you don't know when it's going to end?
Yeah, that was the worst part of the whole thing, is not knowing what's coming up next. Yeah, I mean, this sounds stupid, but you literally can get PTS from the guards walking down the hall jingling keys. So, I mean, as stupid as that may sound, I hear keys jingling right now and I kind of jump a little bit.
Is that right?
And the big thing was the B-52s dropping bombs all night long.
Okay.
I'll tell you about that later if you want to hear it. It's pretty good.
Well, please, let's talk about it now.
We were in the big room with 37 guys.
Okay.
December 18th, the Christmas bombing started. It began right after dark, and we could hear the low-level jets. I think every F-111 and A-6 we had came over and started dropping bombs on Hanoi. And then when they left, bombs started hitting again. And we pretty much had an idea what that was, the B-52s. But when we saw the first one get shot down, we knew exactly what it was. And there were several shot down that night.
I don't remember seeing that. B-2s got shot. This is Operation Linebacker?
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started December 18th, 1972. And they just would light up the sky.
Yeah.
But they dropped, each one had, 80 or 100, 500-pound bombs. And nonstop concussion all night long, bombs dropping. And we were happy because we knew that once that started, hey, this war is going to be over soon.
Yeah.
They can't take it. The funny part of it, it's funny now, it wasn't then, but this is like 3 a.m, we're still awake. Parts of the ceiling of the room in the Hilton where we were was falling in, but just because of the concussion, they knew where we were. We knew that.
I was going to ask you, you think, they
knew where we were.
They purposely did not drop near you.
No.
Got it.
And when we got our first B-52 crewman, he gave us some information. We went, I wish you hadn't told us that. It was an offset bombing thing. They actually used the radio antenna at the Hilton for an offset point.
Oh.
And offset
don't,
bombing.
Don't bomb on that point, right?
If you forget to hit the offset button, you're going to bomb that point.
Yeah.
So, oh, Mike, I wish you hadn't told us that.
Yeah.
But the funny part was all these bombs going off, right? We're all walking around, all 37 of us in that room, laughing our butts off. And the reason we're laughing is we can't stop shaking.
Wow.
Your subconscious mind thinks you're going to die. And it's digging through everything possible to try to keep you alive. And we couldn't stop. We'd slap each other, hit each other on the back, trying to stop. And we couldn't stop shaking.
Oh, my goodness.
And we didn't stop until the bombing stopped. Pretty phenomenal.
Were all 37 in that cell? Was that a lot? Was that the biggest cell of that many people in one place?
Yeah, inside the Hilton complex. When you first get captured, they put you in room 18, which is about a 15 by 15 square room with a big meat hook hanging over the top. That's where they tortured the old guys a lot.
Yeah.
And then you're there for about 10 or 12 days. Then they move you into heartbreak, into the 7 by 7 cell. Well, you know exactly what that looks like.
Gotcha.
And then after they get all they think you can get out of you or whatever, whenever they're done with you, they put you in the big room. And it's about a 75 by 35 room.
Okay.
And sleeping on concrete, the whole time. And those, there were several of those. Room 3, room 4 were full of those guys, and each of us had that many. Admiral Stockdale, John McCain, Robert Reisner, all of those, they were down at the very end. And we were never able to see those guys face to face.
Is that right?
We communicate with them with hand signals and notes and stuff like that, but we never got to see them. But
not until you guys actually walked out of the prison?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't get to meet John McCain till the White House.
No kidding, really?
President Nixon, shortly after the war ended, he had us all up at the White House, all of us. Opened up the entire White House. We could go wherever we wanted.
Yeah.
And we're standing.
I don't think you're a security risk.
We're a security risk.
Yeah.
And me and a couple of Air Force guys that I was there in Hilton with, we're in the Lincoln bedroom and just shooting the bull. Next thing you know, the dressing room door, President Nixon walks out. And we're all going, Mr. President, we're so sorry. He goes, no, man, help yourself. Go around anywhere you want. Just glad to have you. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet. Can you talk me through the actual shoot down, parachute down to the ground, and how you were recovered and brought to the Hilton?
I can. Yeah, in fact, that's chapter 1 of my book.
Yeah. So actually, let's show that, if you don't mind, here real quick to the camera.
You bet.
And that just came out, a couple months ago? A month ago?
It came out October 2nd.
Okay.
On Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I read some of the reviews this morning, and I want to get that and read that myself. That sounds incredible.
Well, this is going to be yours. I'm going to sign it for you.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Basically, what we decided to do, we put all of chapter 1 on my website. So if you go to the website, hopeandcourage.us, chapter 1's there. And it starts out, here I am on the Midway, 100%, the A7, P408 engines, running like crazy.
Yeah.
I get fired off the cat. We do our mission, and I'll talk you through it here. And then it ends up with me in a pair of pajamas in Hanoi.
Yeah.
That's all in the first chapter. What happened on the mission, Ryan? I'm doing Iron Hand. That's where 2 of us go ahead of the strike group. 2 of us down south, 2 of us up north with Shrike missiles.
Okay. Yep.
And we basically were dealing with SAM sites. We get them to shoot at us so we can fire the Shrikes back out at their site.
Yep.
Our Shrikes will home in on their radar, and hopefully they'll keep it on and we'll blow it up.
Yep.
But if they don't, we get them to turn the radar off. That means they can't target guys in the strike group that are right behind us. Alpha strike, 35 airplanes coming in all at once.
A lot.
We got in, dodged some missiles, shot some missiles. Strike group got in, got off. Last airplane called feet wet. When they did, we turned back toward the beach and started heading. Well, right after that, they shot 3 missiles from behind. So a SAM missile, you have to dogfight it just like you do another jet. And so you have to turn into it, catch it visually, push the nose over. Initially, they come up.
Yep.
When you push the nose over, if it comes back down and heads at you, it's got your name on it.
Got it.
So then you just build up speed, wait till it gets about 3/4 of a mile away. You do a high G roll into it.
Okay.
It's doing Mach 4, so it can't handle a turn.
Okay.
And it'll, you just look up and it'll blow up. Proximity fuse lights it off.
Oh,
as
okay.
close as possible.
Got it.
Then you push the nose over and look for the next one. And
look for the next one.
because they're coming.
Okay.
Yeah. And well, what happened when I pushed the nose over, they'd shot 3 more from behind us, even after we turned around. And of course, you can't see them, you can't dodge them. And it hit right behind my airplane. And of course, the engine quit immediately. And cockpit started filling up with smoke. I turned toward the beach. And trying to, maybe I could make the water. And I looked over here, here's another missile coming at me. So I took the stick, tried to turn into it. It was frozen solid. Hydraulic system gone. Stick wouldn't even move. And I'm going to die. This thing's going to hit me. Maybe I ought to jump out. All these stupid things run through my mind. No, if I do that, it's going to guide on the parachute. So I can't. Next thing I know, it goes zooming right by me about 10 feet.
Oh my gosh.
And it didn't blow up. Fuse didn't work.
Yeah.
And that happened on one of my other missions too. It went right between 2 of us and the fuse didn't work. We never saw that one. So airplane went out of control. I'm upside down, rapidly approaching 500 knots. And I had
what's the ejection envelope on an A7?
Well, it's a lot less than 500 knots.
Yeah, I figured.
The seat and the chute are not supposed to work at that speed. It should have broken my neck. But it's the most violent thing I've ever been through. It felt like just somersault, running at full speed against a brick wall, and worse than that. Next thing I know, I'm in the chute, and I'm going, man, I can't believe I lived through this. Really, that's what I thought. And it was real quiet for about 5 seconds. And then bullets started ripping through my parachute.
Do you know what altitude were you at? Do you remember when you ejected?
I was probably, I know, yeah. I saw 3,500 feet when I pulled the face curtain.
Oh my gosh.
And then nothing happened. And then I pulled it again. So they told me if I'd have waited another quarter of a second, I wouldn't have made it. So anyway, the thing that saved me was I was close to the ground when the chute opened. So even though they were shooting at me coming down the chute, I hit the ground. So I was in the chute
if you were hanging higher and floating down a little more, they would have a bead on you, and you probably would have been killed that way.
Absolutely. I landed in about a foot of water and some tall grass.
And
then the bullets started hitting right around the parachute. So I popped the chute real quick and crawled away as quick as I could. And then I probably got 50 feet away, and they were still shooting at the parachute because they couldn't see me. Pulled out my radio and called my buddy Ray and said, hey, Ray, I'm alive. I'm on the ground. There's 1 million of them down here. And then I said, I got to go. And the reason I said I got to go, all of us guys in the squadron, almost all of us, we carried a little plastic baby bottle full of water in our G-suit pocket. All the guys I'd talked to in combat that ejected, they said the first thing that happens, you get incredibly thirsty. So, and I was in shock. I was incredibly thirsty. So I downed all that water in about a half a second. And then I was getting ready to pick the radio back up again. And they came from behind, hit me in the back of the head with a rifle.
Man, they were right there.
They were right there. There were 1 million of them down there. They were.
Do you know how close you were to feet wet?
To what?
To feet wet.
About 8 miles.
No time at all on a jet.
I was about 8,000 feet when I got hit. And so the glide ratio wasn't going to be that good. Even if it could have glided, I wouldn't have made it, Ryan.
Wow, that is, so you had a lot of circumstances to allow you to live through that. Did you look at that when you became a prisoner to say, when you were trying to build that hope and decide between living and dying, did you ever reflect on that to say, wow, there was a lot of stuff that had to happen to keep me alive, therefore that's a reason for me to want to choose that? Or did you even reflect on that?
That is a great question, Ryan. I'm glad you asked. I didn't reflect on that until that day I made the decision to live. And what I realized is I could have been a direct hit and I'd have been dead, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
The missile that went right by my head should have blown up, but it didn't. The ejection seat shouldn't have functioned at that speed, and the chute should have been torn to shreds. It should have broken my neck. I should have got shot in the parachute. I should have got shot on the ground.
Yeah.
When I got captured, there was a guy that ran to me, brought down a knife, and cut my neck open. So that's about 8 right there in probably a 6-7 minute period, and I'm still here. And once I made that decision to live that day, I'm going, you know what? Reflecting on that, I'm here for a reason. I'm just going to figure out what it is.
Man. That's very moving, for sure. I do want to sidebar real quick, though. Your wingman, he made it back okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Ray stuck around, and the other guy, Ken, that was flying the other Iron Hand, he, the skipper radioed him. He very experienced guy. He had 400 missions before we ever went on a cruise.
Oh, man.
And our skipper radioed KT and said, hey, go see if you can find Pig. So the guy I was flying with, Ray, I told him, I said, get out of here. There's a million of them.
Yeah.
So, and he knew it. It was such a heavily defended area. Then KT came out. He was something. I was flying with KT the day that missile went right between us and didn't blow up.
Yeah.
Loved flying with that guy. He was amazing, but he looked around and of course he saw the wreckage.
Oh, okay.
But he could see, he was getting shot at like crazy, and he knew there was no way to rescue me. Bottom line.
Man, did this, so up until then, had anyone, any of the men been lost from that squadron during that deployment?
Yes, sir. First month we were there, our ops officer, Al Nichols, got shot down right around Da Nang, in that area, just north of Da Nang. And he ejected safely and made it to the Hilton.
No kidding.
He did. Ashley and I ended up being roommates with him in that 37-man room that we were there.
He was the operations officer,
He was the ops officer.
Yeah. He said, hey, what's up, Opso? How you doing?
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. We were the only 2 in the squadron that were POWs.
Okay.
We lost 4 more guys. 2 of them were my roommates.
Oh, my gosh.
And the other 2 guys were lieutenant commanders, all dear friends of mine.
Yeah.
We lost 4 of those guys. So, we had 18 pilots and 6 of us got bagged.
A third of the squadron.
Third of the squadron.
Yeah.
It took a hit.
Was that normal during that time? I can't remember what the rate was.
The Oriskany was the other carrier that one of the squadrons in the Oriskany took a pretty big hit.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
We did. And another guy that was on the Midway with me, he got shot down before I did. He was flying a photo F8, and the F4 guy flying his escort just saw his airplane blow up. Never saw a shoot, never saw anything. And we thought he was dead. And when I was talking to Kevin, the guy across from me wearing heartbreak, he said, hey, Gordy Page is down there in room 2. I went, hey, Gordy, it's Pig. Hey, Pig. I said, damn, we all thought you were dead. And I went, oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
So, what had happened, he got a direct hit, and he was ejected from his F8. He never pulled a handle. It just,
oh my gosh,
somehow initiated the ejection sequence.
Yeah.
And blew him out of the jet. And he was basically unhurt, except the whites of his eyes were solid red for about 3 months because of all the negative G that he went through.
Gosh.
Yeah, but he was okay other than that.
Wow. So what kind of so you said you got hit. So what kind of injury did you sustain from the ejection, other than, like I said, getting stabbed and then getting hit in the back of the head with a rifle, but pretty significant injuries? But from the ejection itself, people know, break arms, femurs, shoulders. Were you intact?
Tore up my left knee.
Okay.
Because of the wind blast, 500 knots.
Yeah.
My right arm is as high as I can raise it.
No kidding.
For that reason right there.
Yeah.
And it crushed 3 of my lower vertebrae in my back. The reason it did, I'm like this.
Okay.
So I'm kind of floating, not floating, but my weight is off the seat.
Yeah, you're not
when the seat
in
fired, it crushed through the vertebrae and actually bent my spine, Ryan. My spine goes up like this because of that. And they told me when I got back, hey, when you get to be about 55, 60 years old, one of your hips is going to go out because, they got to compensate for that spine being
Oh,
bent.
yeah.
Sure enough, my left hip went
Is that
out.
right?
Yep.
Got a replacement there?
I got a new one of those.
Oh,
yes,
that's
sir.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But and that was it, except for that guy trying to cut my head off when I got captured.
Wow. So, and I think from every POW that you read about or heard from, none of those injuries are looked after medically by the Vietnamese, right?
No, sir.
Once you get there, right? No. You're tossed into the cell. They don't triage you, put bandages on, or do anything. I mean, maybe they do some sort of surgeries on people who maybe need it, but I don't think they care for you all that much.
One of the guy. In fact, you saw him at the Friday ceremony, Jack Inch.
Oh yeah.
Remember Jack?
Yes, his thumb.
Well, his call sign was fingers.
Yeah.
The reason is his thumb was just hanging off. He was an F4 backseater.
Yeah.
Had his hand up here where the sand went off. Shrapnel, almost cut his thumb off. Well, the doctor said, come in here, we fix you up. Took out a meat cleaver, chopped his thumb off.
Yeah.
That was a medical treatment.
Yeah, that's...
So we changed his call sign from 2 gun to fingers.
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
I didn't know it had changed because of that. Oh, that's good. Oh, man.
Well, we gave him the call sign of 2 gun.
Okay.
When we were in the Hilton there. Great story in the book about Jack.
Oh, okay.
How he got that.
I'll have to read about that then.
Yeah, I love that one.
Okay, great. So when you got there, so later on, so this is 1972 now, but when you got there, you were still brought into a cell and tortured, right? Which, as time went on, it's like I was under the impression that had started to back off.
It did. It did a lot. When they released all those guys in 1970, they released 9 POWs.
Okay.
Only one of them had the authority to come home. The rest of them defied orders.
Oh, is that right?
That's correct. And the reason the one guy was authorized to come home, it was a seaman named Doug Hechtel.
I've met him.
I know.
Yeah.
And he had
I met him at SEER school.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
He memorized all the names.
Yeah, that's right.
And they said, okay, you're going home because DOD needs to know those names.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they released him. And when he came back, of course, they all told about all the torture that those guys that were there. The old guys, we called them FOGs, friendly old guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were the FNGs, the friendly new guys.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And, those guys went through holy hell. And because of the stories those guys in 1970 told, North Vietnam said, well, you know what? We better slack off. We're really looking bad. So by the time we started getting shot down.
Got it.
I mean, when I was captured, before they ever took me into room 18, my arms were tied behind my back and they threw a rope over a thing and pulled my arms up and said, you got bad stuff ahead of you. You better talk. We're going to break your arms and all that.
Yeah.
I was still in shock. I was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't care. I really didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I got into room 18, they stuck a gun in my mouth and stuff like that. And we got beat up.
Wow.
But we went through nothing compared to all those guys that spent years over there.
Well, you went through something, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, they went through something. Absolutely.
Well, you did too. So
when I started public speaking, I came back and I said, look, I'm not going to get paid for this because those guys that spent years over there, they deserve it. I don't. Well, when it came time for people told me I need to start speaking, I said, the only way I'm going to do this, I'm going to call Charlie, I'm going to call Jerry out in Hawaii and ask for their permission. If they say it's okay, I'll do it. If not, I called both of them, and both of them almost said the exact same thing. Get your butt out there and talk. People need to hear the story, especially the young people.
Wow. Yeah.
So I did.
So that was the impetus behind the book then.
Oh no.
No. Okay.
I'll tell you that story later.
Oh yeah. So like I said, shut down, spent time there, released later in 1972, correct?
73.
Oh, 73,
Yes,
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then you actually stayed on active duty and went on to keep on flying.
I did. One quick story, if I may.
Of course, please.
The day we got released.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yes.
Is, we had two news correspondents come into our room. One was a guy named Steve Bell. The other was a guy named Walter Cronkite. And they had cigarettes in their hands because they told the North Vietnamese, hey, let us go in there and give these guys some cigarettes. So they told us, guys, take these cigarettes. This is the only way we get in the room. But really want you to know that there's a 141 waiting for you. You're going to be out of this place in about 3 hours.
That's how you found out.
That's how we found out. Yeah, by those two guys. Anyway, they gave us the clothes. We put the clothes on, got on the bus, went to Gillam Airport, walked up, and I saluted and shook the Admiral's hand. And we all had escorts to take us up to the 141. Ryan, I never allowed myself to cry the whole time I was there. I was afraid if I did, I'd lose it. So I just didn't. Went to the back of the 141. Before I walked up the ramp, all those people up there, flight nurses, guys, crew members, our guys that are already up there, they were all clapping. They're all clapping. Huge American flag draped over, and God Bless America playing. As soon as I heard that, man, tears just started blowing out my, beyond belief that it was all that time finally letting go. And I'm sorry, I apologize. I forgot the question you asked.
Oh, no, that's okay. No, that is, I can't imagine you holding that in for that long.
I was truly afraid I'd lose it if I started crying.
Yeah.
So,
and wouldn't be able to come back from that.
Yeah. Really, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Man. What a wonderful day, though, right?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. We got to Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines, and we stayed there 3 days.
Okay.
And we got physicals, treatment, whatever we needed. And we got brand new uniforms, tailor-made for us there.
Oh.
Yeah, blues, khakis, everything. The whole thing they made for us. And then we went through debriefings, top secret debriefings and everything and all that. And I don't think any of us slept for 3 days. We tried to sleep. Number one, couldn't sleep in a bed at all.
Wow.
The sleep we got, we're on the floor.
That's real. Yeah, people did that.
We slept on concrete over there.
Yeah.
And the guys that spent over there for years, when I got home back to California, it took me about a little over a month to be able to sleep in bed again. We had those guys that spent a long time, took them a long time to sleep in bed again. Did. Just what you get used to. You get used to anything. It's amazing.
Yeah. You just have to accept it, right?
You accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just becomes normal after a while. Yeah.
I can't remember where I just heard this from, but it was if someone was in prison and they essentially said, well, we're going to be released, but I know we're going to be released by Christmas. Everyone's going to be released by Christmas. And then Christmas comes and goes and you aren't released. That destroys you even more than not knowing when you're going to be released. And people who would do that would essentially self-destruct almost after that and could not live with that.
You're exactly right. As a matter of fact, that happened to us. The war ended. We knew that they had to read the peace agreement to us. So we knew that starting 2 weeks from that day, the first group of POWs would be going home. And then every 2 weeks after that, another group. And we came home in the order that we got there. Those were the rules. That's what we did. And I can't remember if it was the third, I think it was the third group that the 141 and the C-130 didn't show up that day. And we're going, oh, this is not good. And then the guards started really treating us bad. And we went, oh, this is not good at all.
You're going to be the last ones.
Yeah. And then a week later, the 141 and the C-130 showed up. Basically, that release was delayed a week. I didn't find out why till I was at the White House later on.
Yeah, please tell.
And I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We were all invited to the White House. They had a huge dinner on the East Lawn with big things set up. And It was a buffet style. So I'm standing in line and talking to an Air Force guy in front of me. He goes, like that. And I turned around, and it was Dr. Kissinger right behind me in line. So I turned around and introduced myself, talked to him, met him and his wife. And I said, Dr. Kissinger, I'd love to ask you one question if you don't mind. He says, sure, go ahead. I said, that delay of release, obviously the talks had broken down and it got delayed for a week. How did you get that to happen a week later? He said, that was easy. The president told me to tell them if they didn't let those guys back in a week, he's going to bomb Hanoi into oblivion.
No kidding.
Yep. That's how it happened.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It was bombed into oblivion.
Even before that, even more.
It was, Ryan. I mean, from the bus ride from the Hilton out to Guam Airport.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a 500-pound bomb crater everywhere you looked, and buildings were just gone. That's why the war ended.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee it.
Dang. That's a great story. Oh, let's see. So, yeah, let's go back. Okay, so released now. Make your way back to, I didn't know this before. So are you from California?
No, I was based there at Lemoore.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. So we come back. And then how does that work? The Navy obviously wants to do an assessment, mental, psychiatric assessment on you, make sure you're still compatible with service, I assume. And you're like, I still want to fly. And so lo and behold, they're like, sure, here, go fly now. And you pass the flight physical and you went and started flying again.
Actually, it didn't quite happen that way.
Okay.
That's the way it was supposed to have happened.
Okay.
When I got back, I flew into Sacramento and then was assigned to Oakland Naval Hospital. Ev Alvarez was there with me at the same time. We were all of us that were in California were there. And we stayed at the BOQ at Alameda. And we basically went through the same thing we did with Clark, except in expanded events there. And a lot of PR. We did news things for local San Francisco stations and stuff. And I was there about 10 days, and my skipper called me from Fallon, Nevada. They had the air wing there. And he said, how you feeling, Pig? I went, great, skipper. He said, you want to come fly? I said, today? He said, no, but I'll send a T-28 with flight gear for you tomorrow if you can do it. I went, yes, sir. I didn't ask anybody. I just went out to Alameda, jumped in the back of the T-28. He flew me to Fallon. I jumped in an A-7.
Yeah.
We did a section takeoff, went out and dropped some practice bombs, did some dogfighting, came back, and the Admiral was there, and I augmented into the regular Navy that day. So the Air Force guys, they had to go through a whole program in San Antonio of getting requal. A lot of the Navy guys did.
Yeah, Dr. Albano would tell me all about that. And guys didn't want to come back and fly in the Air Force or it was more of a no rather than a yes.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Yeah.
But
I cannot believe that.
I was instantly qualified just because of the leadership qualities of my skipper. Because he hung it out for me. If anything had happened. But
yeah, very much so. Who was flying that guy during the mishap? Oh, the one who was just a big POW for the last year.
If anything would have happened, he trusted me. Yeah, he just trusted me, and we had a ball.
So how long had it been from your shoot down so you got inside the A7 in Fallon?
About 9 months.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man.
I had so much time in I didn't have that much then, but
yeah,
it came back to me easy. Not a big deal. Really wasn't.
One question I forgot to ask you, what number combat mission was it that you got shot down on?
I think it was 75.
So you've done quite a bit.
Yeah. I'd be honest with you, I lost count.
Okay.
But
it wasn't the first.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. I counted about the first 10, I think.
Okay.
Because the first 10, every time I saw a SAM, I'd get, you get a little nervous.
Sure.
when you first fly in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And then because we saw a lot of them. And a lot of AAA.
Every mission.
Every mission. Because we were all up north. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Except for the first one.
Okay.
First one was down south. We almost ran into a bunch of helicopters.
Yeah.
And
you must have been flying low.
Well, here's what happened.
Okay.
You want to tell me the story?
Army helicopters, I assume.
Huey Cobras.
Yeah. Okay.
What had happened, when we first got over there, we went from Alameda straight to Yankee Station.
Okay.
We didn't stop. And they thought, well, let's let these guys fly one mission down south with a FAC.
Okay.
So we did.
Mm-hmm.
And we caught a FAC. We were down just around Saigon somewhere. Anlock, I think it was. And he had a target, so he fired some Willie Pete down there. And he said, okay, bomb that. So we did. And then after we pulled off, another ground FAC saying, hey, champs, you still here? Yes, sir. I've got troops in contact. You got guns? Yes, sir. He said, I'm 10 clicks south of where you were. Can you come now? Absolutely. So we went down there, and he shot another white phosphorus rocket. And he said, okay, the good guys are 2 clicks east of that. Don't drop any bombs east of that. And right there where that white phosphorus is, those are the bad guys. The Marines are getting overrun. We need your guns now. We went down to about 30 feet and gunned them.
Is that right?
And when I pulled off target, I'm doing like 400 something.
Uh-huh.
I pulled off target, Ryan. Here were about 6 or 7 Huey Cobras. I don't know how I didn't hit them.
Yeah. Did you in front, or how'd you come when you were coming in like this? Were they going this way or you're going beak to beak?
I'm pulling off. They're coming this way.
Oh, wow.
They're coming this way.
Okay.
And I think I went under one and over another one. I almost closed my eyes because I thought I was going to.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
thought I was going to hit one of them. Yeah.
Well, there's another reason right there. That's number 9.
Yes, sir.
Number 9.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Well, up close and personal with the helo guy, yeah, it's all good. Oh boy. Okay. So we talked about combat mission. So you come back. So now you're flying back again, back in the States. Are you with a squadron again? Well, so the war's ending now. So you're not going to go back and deploy anymore.
No, the war's over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So then what was the plan for you after that? What was your mindset?
The Navy and Air Force and Marine Corps, they gave us all whatever orders we wanted. We had guys that went to medical school, law school, wherever they wanted. Several guys, they went to Monterey.
Yeah.
Just to go to Monterey. And
not a bad place to be.
Not a bad place to be.
No.
And I said, I want to fly F4s in Miramar.
Oh.
And my skipper told me, don't do it, Pig. Don't do it. You'll regret it. Well, of course, I thought I knew more than he did, which I didn't, obviously. Went down to Miramar, flew F4s.
Did you really? Went from attack to fighter?
I did.
Yeah.
And back then, that didn't happen.
Uh-huh.
I was an LSO, but I wasn't fully qualified. I had about a week to go to get fully qualified day and night, everything in the air wing. But I wasn't fully qualified. When I got to Miramar, I was going to be an instructor in the F4 RAG down there. Of course, I had to get checked out. And my plan was to go on the first ship deck, wave some RPs day and night, and get qualified. Then I'm done, right? Then I'll be a RAG LSO.
You're focused.
That was a great plan.
Yeah.
But the ops officer in that squadron, he was upset because I got the orders that his buddy was supposed to get.
No hitter.
So he got a hold of the AirPack LSO, and they found some OPNAV regulation that said if I wasn't a fully qualified LSO, I could not wave RAG students.
Oh, got it.
So, and then he made a couple other rules on me that, this ain't good. Fortunately, my skipper was down there undergoing CAG training because to fly the F4, he was going to be CAG on the Midway.
Okay.
So I called him one night and I said, Skipper, do you mind if I can have a little chat? He says, yeah. Matter of fact, you guys come over to have dinner with us tonight and we'll talk. So we did. And I said, sir, you were right. I want to go back to Lemoore. And he said, okay, what squadron do you want to go to? And I told him. One of the F4 skippers with us on the Midway was now a detailer at the Bureau. John Disher, he was an admiral. In fact, I think he might have come down here at one time. Lou called John that night. And the next day, I had a set of words. It happened that quick.
Yeah.
And I'd gone to the squadron, and my skipper at BF-121 comes there, and he goes, Pick, what is this? I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. I haven't seen him.
I don't know, Skipper. What is it? He goes, you got orders back to Lemoore. I went, wow. And he said, why? And I told him. I said, that guy You did me wrong.
Mm.
And anyway, he ended up doing some other things wrong, and he got relieved.
Mm.
But anyway,
There you go.
I sold my house,
Is that right?
and well, that's another story, man. I built a brand new home in San Diego.
Oh, do you still have it?
I wish.
Yeah. I was going to say, man, I'm getting on that too.
I
Yeah, no
wish.
kidding.
Oh, brand new home, 5-bedroom, $35,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Sold it a year later, less than a year later.
Yeah.
Double my money. I thought I was a real estate tycoon.
Yeah. Man, if you only had it now.
I know.
Yeah.
But I got back to Lemoore, and I was an instructor in the A7 rack.
Okay. Ooh, so quick question. Where did you live when you were stationed at Lemoore?
Where did I live? I lived in Lemoore.
Did you?
Yeah. Had a house.
Okay.
Built a brand new house in Lemoore.
My mom and dad both grew up in Visalia.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Went there a lot to eat dinner.
Yeah.
That was the big city.
It was the big city.
Yes,
That's right.
sir.
Bakersfield's a little too far. Fresno's a little too far. Visalia to Larry, like right there.
Yeah.
You know?
I say it was good deal.
Yeah.
Good restaurants and stuff.
Yeah,
It was
we
cool.
would go there throughout my childhood and visit our families that were all down there. Still have family there. Actually, my father's buried there. So
Wow. I'll be darned.
So time at the FRS being an instructor pilot, and then how long was that?
I went there in 70. Well, it was right. It's end of 74.
Okay.
Yeah, and stayed there till the end of 75. I was only there about a year.
Oh wow. Oh,
and then I got orders back to VA-25, another fleet squadron tour. Because my first one was cut short, they decided to give me another one.
Oh, that's
okay.
funny.
So okay.
So I was gonna ask you. That's so funny because we didn't get enough out of you, so we're gonna get some more sea time
pretty much
out of you.
Yep.
Oh,
That was
that's
pretty
so
much
Navy.
pretty much the way I worked.
So Navy.
Yep.
But I wanted to ask you. So when you got to the FRS, what people had to have looked at you in a certain way?
Yeah, they did. I tell you what was funny when I was down at Miramar. They looked at me really funny.
Yeah.
I'm a Lieutenant JG in Miramar still.
You hadn't promoted to lieutenant.
Well, one time the time wasn't up yet.
They didn't meritoriously promote you
No,
from
not at all.
being a POW.
Not at all. Well, see, I got my wings imported to VA-56. I was an ensign. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I was at Miramar, I'm a JG.
Okay.
And I got 5 rows of combat medals up here.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. And they're looking at like, who the heck are you?
Yeah.
And,
the word on the street, I'm sure, was it's Mike Penn.
well, they figured it out pretty quick. But you ought to see them stare at me when I first got there. Like, who are you?
I mean, I can imagine the instructor pilots were kind of, but like the students, like, I got to go fly with this guy who just spent all this time in a prison. But you were probably Santa Claus, though, weren't you? Were you? Or
what?
Were you Santa Claus
as
an instructor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone was like flew with you. I was like, oh man, he was the greatest ever. So
yeah, actually, I really didn't know. I'd never been an instructor before, and I asked my buddies. I said, "How do you know when to give a guy down?" They go, "Oh, you'll know."
Yeah.
And they were right.
That's a great
They
point.
were so right.
Yeah, it was pretty apparent.
Oh yeah, big time.
I only gave one down my whole time as an instructor, but
I was doing a NATOPS check ride to this guy. I'm flying his wing.
Yeah,
and we're doing an approach into El Toro.
Okay,
toward the mountain in the goo. And you got to, on the missed approach, you got to hit a 3-mile arc. You're going to hit the mountain. And we briefed all that,
Sure.
And it's right after basically you raise the gear, it's time to start your turn. He kept going straight.
Oh.
And he kept going straight. I finally got on the radio. I said, turn left now. Turn left now. And he didn't. Well, finally I said, it was an overcast, low overcast type thing. I just popped up through the overcast. I went, this guy's going to hit the mountain. Well,
I'm not going with him.
I'm not going with him. Well, he turned just in, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
He must have got from here to that wall of the mountain. But he came back and I said, okay, I got the lead. Back to Lemoore. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I got it.
You got your one done.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. So back to the fleet again, and then you were what conspired at that point? Back, like I said, deploying again?
We did. Made another cruise on the Ranger. 9-month cruise on the Ranger.
Man.
So I was gone when both of my boys learned how to walk.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. I was on cruise both those times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was That's comes with the Navy.
That's right. That's
where
right.
it goes.
Yeah, I was fortunate when both my sons were born. I was actually home.
Oh, you were.
Yeah,
that was
so
awesome.
I was very, very fortunate because I know
Yes,
so many
sir.
people could not, do that. So,
Mhm.
yeah. And then what? You said finish that tour, then decided I'm going to move on to do the reserve thing now.
Well, what happened was during that tour, we got back from cruise, and one of my best friends I was instructors with in Lemoore was on Blue Angels. He was a narrator, and he flew number 7 jet in one day and visited. And he says, "Big, I think you need to come do this." And I said, "How did you know?" I mean, that's what I want to do more than anything in the world, was be on the team. And then, so I started flying around with them, going to air shows, which is what you do. You just go to air shows. Me and a buddy of mine, Mike Nord, flew together to a bunch of air shows to get to know the guys. And the selection process, I made it down to, there was 3 of us, and they were picking 2, and I didn't make it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And they're flying A4s at the time?
They were flying A4s. Yeah.
Wow. Were the other guys A4 pilots?
No, none of them were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, none of them were. And the number 3 pilot was a guy I was an instructor with in Narag, Don Soons. And anyway, I met a guy named Al Cisneros. He was a solo pilot, and got to be really good friends with him. Just kind of hit it off, And anyway, if I didn't make the team, I'd already decided I'm getting out of the Navy. Had I made the team, I'd have stayed in it for a career. I'd have stayed in, but I got out, and Al had gotten out before me, helped me get a job with Continental Airlines, which worked out pretty good because about a year and a half later, I met my wife. She was a flight attendant. So
no kidding.
Got a wife and a daughter out of the deal, so it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good, I'd say.
And then when Continental started going down the tubes, I quit a year early and went to Southwest because I kind of saw the writing on the wall.
No kidding.
Well, Al waited till the bankruptcy. So when it went bankrupt, I helped him get a job with Southwest.
Is that right?
So turned out pretty good.
Huh.
The sad part about the Blue Angel deal was my buddy Niall, who had flown back to say, "Hey, you need to get on the team."
Yeah.
He wanted to be, the narrator gets 3 years. You talk the first year, and you get 2 years flying.
Okay.
Well, he wanted to be a solo pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So he was number 6 all by himself out in El Centro during winter training.
Oh, yeah.
And he was doing a loop and flew on the ground and killed himself.
No kidding.
Yeah, it broke my heart. He's a great guy.
Man, stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it was. But anyway, got out, got a wife, and anyway, made it to Southwest.
Yeah. Wow. So before I do want to just touch on your time there at Southwest, because you were on the ground floor, of Southwest. But is there anything else besides the question I'm supposed to ask you? What's the real reason you wrote the book? If you want to wait to answer that, that's fine. Was there anything else you wanted to cover there in the book before we kind of move on?
Well, the book was written about hope, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But an event occurred, and the reason is because I'd almost lost hope when I was in Vietnam. I wanted to fly jets in the Navy when I was 16 years old. There was a solo pilot there that I had signed an autograph for me. Then I went back the next year when he was a lead solo pilot, and he signed it again.
No kidding.
And whether he did or not, he said he remembered me.
Yeah.
And Ryan, he said, "You're the young man from last year. You want to be a Navy jet pilot real bad, don't you?" And I went, "Yes, sir, I do." Well, he signed the thing, and he said, "You never give up, and you're going to make it. I'm going to see you in the fleet." And so that's what lit my fire. And I flunked out of college twice. And, I thought I was going to be a rock star. So I was playing a rock
Literally?
band.
A rock star?
Oh, we
Like
had our
in
own
a band?
We had our own TV show in Fort Worth on Channel 11 in Fort Worth. And in fact, one of the greatest stories in the book, we had our very first guest. This is live TV.
Okay.
Was Jerry Lee Lewis.
Wow.
And wait till you read the story in the book.
Okay.
It'll blow you away.
That's impressive.
It's worth buying the book just to read that story.
Yeah, I bet.
And anyway, So did that for 2 years in college and worked out great. And then the guy that was the lead singer and guitar player, Warner Brothers, found out about us. They all went to California. I had to stay in college and take a full load or I'd get drafted. So I went, oh no, this is not good. So I found out that I could be a police officer in Fort Worth. They'd pay for my college. So me and my best friend went down there and the chief of police said, you guys are big guys. I'll let you be full-time police officers. I'll let you work 3 to 11. You don't have to rotate shifts. I'll pay for your college. Cool. So I worked full-time 3 years, 3 to 11 as a police officer, taking 16 hours a semester in college. It was difficult, and I'd flunked out twice.
How do you do that?
I had to beg for forgiveness and beg to get back in school, because I wanted to fly in the Navy anyway, and I had
that was your real goal.
That was my total goal.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And overcame a lot of other things and in order to achieve that goal. So I never lost hope. Almost did several times. But again, the big one was in prison when if you lose hope, you're done. And then later on, we did basically the same thing of hope and courage. And I realized if I don't lose hope, that will give me the courage to never give up. And that's exactly the way it worked. And a couple more things in there, but I'd rather you read them out of the book than everybody else.
Yeah.
I can tell the stories, but there's some great.
I can't wait.
There was a bunch of them.
Yeah. So Southwest Airlines, I don't know much of the history about it other than my parents actually loved flying it. And it was kind of the first, kind of low-cost carrier that was around. But it started in Dallas, correct? That's where it was founded. That's where their headquarters is right now.
Yes.
When you joined, how many pilots did they have?
When I got there, we had 300 pilots.
I think now you're at about 12,000?
12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only base was in Dallas.
Okay.
We had 300 pilots, about 500 flight attendants. We all flew together all the time. Everybody knew everybody. Herb Kelleher, the gentleman that started the company.
Okay.
One of the greatest leaders I've ever seen. And my old commanding officer.
Okay.
That I named my second son after. That's what a great. He's the guy that went out and let me fly an A7 on his wing.
No kidding. He did that.
He did.
Yeah.
His name was Lou Chatham. Remember that solo pilot that was when I was 16 years old at Hanoi? Lou Chatham. Same guy.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
You ended up being your CO?
My CO. Yeah. Isn't that something?
That's wild.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, Lou Chatham and Herb Kelleher were the two greatest leaders I've ever seen. And I asked them both at 2 different times, what's the secret to being the great leader that you are? Because they're the kind of guys that would say, follow me, and you just do it without question. You know those guys. And both of them said the exact same answer. 3 reasons. Take care of your people. Take care of your people. Take care of your people. Both of them said that.
Yeah.
And that's what they did, Ron.
Uh-huh.
Herb, we didn't make a lot of money back then. We made a lot more than the Navy guys did. That's why we got out. But he said, I want you to come to work. I want you to have a warrior spirit, a servant's heart, and have fun. And he let us have fun.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. God, it was great. And he had no ego, Ryan, and he demanded that we all call him Herb.
Is
not
that
Mr.
right?
Kelleher. Yes, sir. And he'd get on the airplane. He'd be going from Dallas to Oak City, some short flight or whatever. He'd get back there and pass out peanuts and serve drinks and all that kind of stuff. And he had your back. He started that airline for his people. That was the big difference. He had this great idea that if he treated his people really, really well and made them happy, they'd show up on that airplane happy, and they treat those passengers good.
Yeah.
Passengers come back and fly.
Yeah.
It was that simple.
You're right. That is the formula to success.
It was.
I mean, it truly is. I mean, that's the way in the service, corporations, whatever it is. And you do see that when you do fly Southwest. You do feel like the employees there, are happy to be there and they love what they do versus some other ones that aren't necessarily like that, at all.
Plus, he came out with this great idea. We're not going to give you a retirement program. I'm going to give you a matching 401k. So it's going to be your money. In case of a bankruptcy, you're not going to lose it like all the other airlines did. It's a 401, it's yours, and I'll match it 100%.
All the pensions that went bye-bye with all the bankruptcies.
We had a profit sharing program in addition to 401. So a percentage of the company's profits at the end of the year, we get a cut on, 10, 12%.
Yeah.
And it was an unbelievable great deal.
And so what year was that you joined Southwest?
82.
82.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then started spreading out. So were you guys flying the 737 then?
That's all we flew.
Yeah, I know. So even back then it was a 737.
Because
that's one of the unique things about Southwest, right? If people don't kind of know that compared to the other major airlines, you only fly one make and model, multiple series, right, of them, which obviously has lots of advantages to it. And for the pilots and for the maintenance side,
big time,
right, which drives up revenue incredibly. You just have to be a little lucky sometimes, though, since you are kind of stovepiped into one aircraft. But for Southwest, it has worked out completely.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
When I got there, we only had the 200. And about 2 years later, we got our first 300.
Okay.
And then we got the 500 after that, then the 7.
Yeah.
And now we got the 800.
Yeah. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Never believed that little company that I started with would be flying to Jamaica.
Right, yeah.
All these international places.
Yeah.
Never dreamed it.
Down to Mexico now.
Everywhere.
I mean, Hal does turns out of Houston to like Mexico and back a couple times a day.
Yeah.
And then he's done, after that. So, that's not too bad.
It was a great deal.
Yeah.
It really was.
So how long did it, first officer for how long? And then how long did it take you to make captain?
Well, when I first got there, it was only taking about 2.5 years to upgrade to captain.
Oh, okay. Because it's expanding so much, I assume.
Expanding so fast, yes, sir. But we bought an airline, bought Musair, and we had to integrate those people. Instead of 2.5 years, it cost me almost 5 years to make captain.
No kidding.
But still, today's timing, so that was still pretty quick.
Yeah.
So,
and then what was who else did Southwest buy? Not that long ago, like 10 years ago. Who was that?
We bought AirTran.
AirTran, that's what it is. AirTran.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And brought all those pilots in too, right?
Yeah.
And all their routes and everything.
Yeah. And before AirTran, we bought Morris Air out of the West Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
So we bought 3 airlines. Bottom line.
That'll cause for quick expansion. Yeah.
Quick expansion, lots of problems because you're having to integrate seniority lists. And it got done.
Yeah, sure.
You never are able to do that without some kind of difficulty.
And even just like pilot procedures and techniques, and I'm sure with flight attendants on how they do their job.
Yes,
you're having to bring them in to a possibly a totally different culture.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Culture is everything.
It is. Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure you saw that in Vietnam.
We did.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. Because you had those guys who were dedicated and to their country and still loved their country. And I'm sure there were some that were not.
Absolutely.
While they were there. Like those 8 that came home that time, right?
Yep. You got it.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So then, fast forward again, you're captain. And then when do you become a chief pilot?
I'm so glad you asked. That's a great question.
How is it that you become a chief pilot? It's just, you're like, hey, who wants to be a chief pilot today? And you raise your hand. Hey, I'll be a chief pilot today. I've had enough flying. Or how does, I've never spoken to a chief pilot before. So how does that work?
Pretty simple, actually.
Okay.
The guy that wrote the foreword to this book.
Yeah.
Forward by Chuck Sly McGill, Lieutenant Colonel, United States Marine Corps, retired. Chuck was our chief pilot in Houston. And I'd flown with him a lot when he was a first officer. And he was one of the greatest guys. You talk about a leader. It's the troops come first. He's all about the people, taking care of your people. Just a great guy. Well, I got to be pretty good friends with him because he and I flew a lot. He had just taken over. He was the new chief pilot in Houston. Had just taken over And he was sitting in his office trying to figure out who he's going to hire to come into work in the office with him. I walked by the door. He said, "Hey, Mike, come here a minute, will you?" "Sir." Walked down and says, "Is there any way in hell that you would come work in the office as an assistant chief pilot?" And I said, "Chuck, anybody else ask me that question, my answer would be, oh, hell no. For you, yeah, I'll do it."
That was it. That was the whole job interview right there.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay.
And next thing you know, I went to Dallas, got checked out as a check pilot, and came back down, and I'm an assistant chief pilot. I was about a year later, a little over a year later, Chuck got promoted to Dallas, and he picked me to be the chief pilot. There were two, Chuck and two assistants, and he picked me to be the chief.
Okay.
So that was it.
What year was that?
That was in 2004.
And then when did you retire from Southwest?
I quit flying in 2006, 2 years later.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. In fact, that was the question I asked him. I said, "Chuck, look, I only got 2 years in the office." He goes, "I don't care." I said, "You're going to make a difference in 2 years." And I think I did, not just for the chief pilot thing, but I was running the HIMSS program for Southwest in Houston. So I was able to, this is in the book too, but I ended up with a pretty serious drinking problem. I lost both my parents and just a lot of things, PTSD, all the other things. And my wife had just about all the fun she could stand. We went down to San Diego to pick up my son. He was coming in on the Kitty Hawk. He was a AE and F-18 squadron.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, we spent some time. I drove him back to Lemoore.
Uh-huh.
We were on our way back down to LAX, and my wife said, "Hey, I got this place up near Malibu. I want to show you." Okay. Drove up. Okay, what are we doing? She pops the trunk, goes back, throws my suitcase out, and said, "I have a room for you in that place right there for 30 days. If you don't stay there, you're never going to see me or your daughter again."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, pretty gutsy move. And that's what it took, basically, for me to, I spent 5 days trying to figure out how I was going to get out of that place. Honestly, it was just, I don't belong here. I don't.
In denial.
Total denial.
Uh-huh.
I don't have a problem. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, fortunately, I had a counselor, Ryan. It was a big guy, bigger than me, former Marine.
Uh-huh.
And we were in this group, and he'd heard just about all he wanted to hear out of me. Right in front of everybody. I made some smart comment. He actually put his hands through me against the wall. And he said, "Mike, you're 51 years old. Your way of doing things got you into a treatment center. Why don't you shut up and let us tell you about a better way of life?" And oh, by the way, do you remember how you felt when your dad stuck a gun in his mouth and killed himself? Do you want your kids to feel the same way when you do it? Ryan, my knees almost buckled when he said that. It was like a light bulb turned on, but yeah, you're right. I've never been more humbled in my life than I was that day. Yeah, which is what it takes. You gotta go, okay, I give up. I can't do this anymore. I need some help. And that was the day of that. Sure glad I did. That was over 28 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah. Owe it all to my wife. No way I'd done it on my own. No way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's heavy.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
It was. I get emotional telling you the story.
Yeah.
I remember it just like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But that was a turning point, and you have to have a turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to lose it, or think you're going to lose it, or feel like you're going to lose it, to be able to go, okay, I give up.
So we're coming up on our normal time here, so I don't want to. What is the real reason why you wrote the book?
Thanks for asking. I appreciate that. About 4 years ago, 4 of us were hired by the Army, Aberdeen Proving Grounds.
Maryland.
Yes, sir. To do a program for a bunch of Army guys.
Wow.
And they wanted a member from each branch of the service.
Okay.
Well, my buddy Frank, who owns American Speakers Bureau in Florida, he's a Force Recon Marine. He was over there the same time I was. And he told me, by the way, if I was about 12 miles south of where we were, he could have rescued me. Because that was what he did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He rescued people up
Okay.
north that far. Anyway, Frank was a Marine. I was a Navy guy. We had an Air Force guy who was an astronaut, Rick Searfoss, and the Army guy, Rocky Blyer.
Rocky Blyer?
The Rocky Blyer.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Rocky was in the Army. He got drafted when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I didn't know that.
He got drafted, went to Vietnam. He almost got his foot blown off with a grenade and had to recuperate a lot. They told him he'd never play football again. The owner of the Steelers kept him on while he was rehabbing.
Oh, my gosh.
He came back and back to the team. He kept him on the practice squad while he was rehabbing. And his story's phenomenal.
I've never heard that about him.
I know.
Ever. I just remember not liking him because he would play for the Steelers and we were Raiders fans. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Rocky was a wonderful guy. I had spent 3 days with him, or 2.5 days. At dinner one night, I'm sitting by him, and I said, Rocky, I got to ask you one question. I'm dying to. Sure. I said, is Terry Bradshaw as dumb as everybody says he was? And Rocky says, oh, no, man. He knew the whole playbook. I went, really? He goes, yeah, we only had 4 plays.
Yeah.
That was his answer. But anyway, so we did the presentation.
Okay.
I was the last guy to speak. And we all did about 40 or 50-minute presentation. And of course, mine included hope and courage and how it affects your life and so on and so forth. And anyway, we got done. We were talking to people, visiting and signing stuff. And I saw a young enlisted guy in fatigues about 20 feet away. And people started walking away. He actually approached me and said, Captain Penn, can I talk to you in private, please? And I went, oh, absolutely. So he gets over and we walk about 20 or 30 feet away. And he said, sir, I just wanted you to know that this morning when I woke up, I spent a few minutes thinking, and I made the decision that tonight I'm going to kill myself because I can't live anymore. But after your presentation today about hope, I realize how powerful that is, that I can't lose that. And it will actually give me the courage to never give up. Captain Penn, I don't know how I could thank you. You saved my life. I said, son, you just did. That's why I wrote the book.
Wow.
Honestly, that's why I wrote the book. I said, I got to put that word. If that book will save one life, enough said.
It's done its job. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I think this is one of the most impactful interviews that we have done here. I know we haven't done many, but I cannot thank you enough for kind of bearing your soul. I'll be honest with you, with us here in the ready room.
You're most welcome.
I don't know what else to say.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. No, this has been a great pleasure.
I'm lucky I can talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, as you well know, Charlie's one of the few guys that can travel all over there and talk about it.
He does.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys can't. A lot of guys can't. Their PTSD is too great. The trauma is too great. But
yeah.
I'm glad I can.
Is there anything else you want to close with? Over to you, sir.
The back when jumped out of the jet, almost got killed a bunch of times. And I'm going, man, I'm lucky. And then I was in that treatment center, and that Marine pushed me up against the wall. And I finally realized, yeah, this is probably the reason I'm still here, because if I get well, I can help a bunch of people. And then I went to Southwest, and I got to be that HIMSS deal there.
Yeah.
And I was able to help a lot of guys.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
And I still run an aftercare type program every Saturday morning at a hospital.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was there about 2 years, and there was a doctor, an MD. He was an MD and a PhD in charge of the narcotics unit and to help people. And he ran a little deal every Saturday morning. And when you go through HIMSS program in the airlines, you're off work about a year, 6 months to a year.
Wow.
And you have to attend meetings and aftercare once a week.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I went to aftercare. Well, Saturday morning, well, he called me one night and he said, Mike, I'm having serious surgery tomorrow morning. If I don't make it, you got to promise me to keep this group going. And I said, Dr. Bob, I'm no doctor.
Yeah.
He says, I don't care. They will listen to you. That's what he said. He died.
Oh my gosh.
And I've been running that program for 26 years, every Saturday morning. We've helped a few people.
I would say so.
Yeah. And I go, you got it.
Yeah, thank you. My goodness. Well, sir, thank you for joining us on this flight through history and innovation here at the Ready Room. We hope today's episode has inspired, our viewers and our listeners with your incredible story. It's not just about naval aviation. I mean, this is truly a story about life and overcoming adversity and hope and courage, for sure. So, but if you are watching or listening and you had the chance to come to Pensacola to visit the museum, please come down and do that, or find us on navalaviationmuseum.org as well, and visit our online store. So, but sir, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully I'll see you then maybe tomorrow or on Friday with the Blue Angels practice, hopefully on Friday. But if not, again, it's been fantastic. So
thanks for having me, Ryan.
Yeah, awesome.
Pleasure.
Thank you for joining us on this flight through history and innovation here at the Ready Room. We hope today's episode inspired you with new insights and the incredible stories that make naval aviation so extraordinary. If you enjoyed the journey, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with your network. It helps us reach more listeners like you. Don't forget to visit the National Naval Aviation Museum in Pensacola, Florida, or explore our online resources at navalaviationmuseum.org to dive deeper into the stories we've shared. Follow us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and a sneak peek at upcoming episodes. Until next time, thanks for listening to Ready Room. See you on the next flight.